Oh,
So,
you look good. I love your outfit.
thank you. Likewise. Welcome to Vibe Osmosis, and thank you for taking the time to join this interview. Go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do.
Oh, thank you for having me. My name's Spooky, Spooky Marvin. What do I do? I make music, I make videos, I draw, and do a lot of other things too. But those are like the main ones that come to mind right now.
So, I listened to some of the stuff that you have out on Bandcamp outside of what you have on streaming platforms like YouTube. Go ahead and, in a nutshell, say how you got started.
Making the music itself, that was kind of like in high school. I started doing that
Okay.
just because, I mean, my whole life I've felt like I was going to do that at some point. It was just a matter of when, rather than if I was going to do it. And I think I transferred schools, and when I left, I was at an all boys school. When I left that and went to like a public school, it was like my mission to start a band, and that was the first thing that I did. Kind of when I got there, and from that point, I started taking music really seriously, and I hated being in like jazz band. I was in jazz band there, and but I was also starting this other band, and I really wanted to like kind of do things on my own, and that kind of like inspired me to learn how to produce and do all the the, you can't see it, but like the red thing that all the musicians have, like it kind of inspired me to go get on that wave. And from then on, I was on GarageBand. Now I'm on Logic Pro X. It feels like the same exact thing. I'm just kind of learning as I go. I never did any like lessons or anything like that.
So, do you remember like what was like your first instrument or like the first thing that you got into whenever you did a band?
Yeah, I was always on guitar. I was always guitar vocals, and like being that position in every band kind of makes me want to not be that position. I also love it so much, but like I also really want to be like a quiet bassist or something, like, or like a percussionist. I'm really jealous of percussionists, but also at the same time, I feel like I just can't not be the center of attention. I get really stubborn about that.
Yeah. It's better to make the music really good and also do something like you're behind and proud of, other than like I don't really know about this, but we're pushing forward.
Yeah, totally.
So like whenever it comes to like recording, like what's some of the first stuff that you start with? Do you start with vocals or do you start with like a drum track or what?
It changes a lot. I definitely have been starting with drum tracks lately. I'll just have like a lot of drum patterns in my head, and I'll like pat them out as I go about my day, and the vocals will kind of come after that. But sometimes I will have lyrics first, and then I'll try to like find the music for the lyrics. I'm
Um,
like an abuser of the Notes app. I
oh,
have
okay.
like a shit ton of words, and I try to make it
Yeah.
make sense at a certain point.
So like do you think like it eventually like, translates like on paper, or do you just like kind of go ahead and look at the notes and like write down like what lyrics are really working for you?
Yeah, I like to use paper a lot, and I like to be really like finalized before I start producing for a lot of my songs. Sometimes I'll be in like a mood where I just want to like kind of play around,
Yeah.
but other times I'll be like, damn, I need this to be this way so I can produce it and have it be fully complete and all that.
What would you say is like a favorite band or inspiration that got you started, like younger?
Um, Tons of them, but I loved the Gorillas when I was growing up, just because I feel like I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that they were cartoon. I thought they were real, and I loved that. I was in first grade, I think, when I was really into the Gorillas. They
Yeah,
did a live performance with Madonna at the Academy Awards that
yeah,
like
that's
just
very good.
took me away. And then also the B-52s, that was a big one, and the Pixies and Sublime and the Cramps and Green Day. I loved Green Day. Had a big like romantic relationship with Green Day. I felt very personal listening to them. And
Here,
then
here,
like pop stars too.
here's a big one. I'm like really interested in like whenever you were like early starting playing gigs and stuff, did you ever get like really high or too drunk where you're like, I don't know if this is gonna be any good, or did you ever go for that?
It's funny. I'm actually straight edge.
Straight edge, okay. So,
Yeah. So like I know if anything, I was just too uptight, and my
so tight.
bandmates were too drunk, and I'd be like mad about that. But I never had to worry about that. I mean, I'm physically abusive to myself on stage, so that's like a problem. So, like some nights I hurt myself too much, but that's okay. The
I'm
body
like that.
heals.
That will be the pit alone for some people. It's like
Right, yeah.
the madness. Um, yeah. So like, what's some favorite movies of yours?
Awesome question. I love The Wizard of Oz. I love Alice in Wonderland, the cartoon one. Napoleon Dynamite, Mulholland Drive,
Yeah,
Welcome to the Dollhouse. I love Todd Solondz. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I love all his movies. And
very trippy stuff.
I just saw Love Lies Bleeding by Rose Glass. That was
Nice.
fucking epic. I highly
Yeah.
recommend that to anybody who is like cool. And what's another one? Um, I like Ghost World, and I like the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great one. Did you watch the new Sandy Cheeks one?
No, I haven't seen it. I haven't been keeping up with that, but I bet it's great.
It's epic. They leaked it. They put it on like Discord, and like I'm just like I have this one Discord where it has like every season of SpongeBob and all the movies. And
Hmm.
whenever I found out that the Sandy Cheeks one was on there, I like took the dive and like it just blew my mind. Spoiler alert: that SpongeBob is alive on land, even though he
What?
has nothing to protect him. So
That's
that makes it
crazy.
a very different kind of movie. Yeah, it
That's
changes
like a plot hole
the
because
world.
in the
Yeah.
cartoon he used to always have problems with that.
Go. Yeah, exactly. This one was the one where they're
Interesting.
like, we're gonna go for it. Fuck it.
I like that.
Yeah. So like, what would you say is like a song you can always listen to? Do you have one?
Yeah, I have a couple. One of them is Ladybug by the Bumblebee Unlimited. It's from the 70s and it was really big in like New York. It's like a really long disco song and it's just so immersive. You know, it's like 10 minutes, so you could just put it on and get lost in it. And it's just so cool. There's like little cartoon ladybugs talking. Well, I don't even know if they're cartoon, it's audio, but they sound like cartoons. And then one of my favorite songs ever is I Want to Be Your Dog by the Stooges, too.
That one's pretty epic. Yeah. So would you ever party with Iggy Pop if you had the chance?
Yeah, I would love that. I would love to be on stage with him and just kind of like do things. We would do things alike. You know, I think we both like to take our shirts off and roll around and, get in people's faces. So take a lot of inspiration from that man.
Yeah, out of like your shows and performance and like the early stages of building up to what you do now, did you ever have like shows where you were like, I'm not sure people are gonna dig this or feel this?
Yeah, whenever I start feeling like that, I always come at it with more. I don't know why. It's like if I feel like the crowd's not into it, there's a part of me that's kind of like maybe bummed, but at the same time, it's just like, well, I'm just gonna give them something to remember. And the last time that happened, it was at like a house show, and the crowd wasn't really into it. And my friend and I were doing like a lot of crazy shit throughout, but it was at his house, so we brought out like a big fan, like one of
Nice.
those like portable fans, and we just like destroyed it, like a bunch of parts falling all over the place, and it was so awkward, like looking back on it, like because it was just all these, nobody was into it, no, like not one person was like, this is sick, like everybody was just like, what the fuck are they doing? And it's kind of like having a breakdown in front of everybody, but like I would prefer that than anything else. So I think when I do start feeling like that, I'm just like gotta give it more.
I mean, and like I know, like in my early days, there's been times whenever like I took way too much acid, and
Hmm.
like by the time that I was actually performing, like it was just like combating with sound after sound, not really even knowing like what the vibe was. And then I remember like after one time, like I was finally sobering up, having water and stuff. A person comes up to me and they were like, so you're the new prince or something like that. And I was like, oh, so it sounded kind of funky then. Like at least I was on to something. Like I
It
have no
worked.
clue.
For
Yeah.
someone, it worked. That's what matters, man. It's gonna be one person, and if it makes a difference for them, then it's all worth it.
What do you think happens whenever you die? You got any clues?
I'm pretty open. Like, I think whatever you think happens when you die is what happens. But for me personally, I don't know. A part of me is just kind of like logical and like, all right, and it's, show's over. You don't see the everlasting sleep. You're just done. But
I
I
like
like
that
the
idea.
idea of like maybe being able to see people from an afterlife perspective. But I go back and forth. At this stage of my life, I think it's just pretty cut and dry. But I think at a different stage of my life, it'll be more positive or negative. Who knows?
All right, so if you had a time machine, would you go forwards or backwards?
Definitely backwards. I wouldn't want to go forward. I don't think we're gonna have
How
much
far
time
back?
left. I think I'd go back to the late 70s.
Late 70s?
Yeah, late 70s glam rock scene. I think I would
Is there a
enjoy
certain
that.
person that you'd want to meet?
I'd like to meet the Sparks and the Cramps. Yeah, you know what? I love the Sparks, but definitely the Cramps. I want to meet Lux. He's no longer with us, and I would love to meet Lux and Poison Ivy. Those are some people that I really look up to that I think I would vibe with.
Do you remember your dreams?
Yes, I haven't done it lately, but I used to write down all my dreams and I had them like in my phone. But I haven't done that in a minute. I really like writing down my dreams. I think dreams are beautiful. They're like little movies, little stories. I also think that we make up a lot of shit in our dreams, and I think our dreams happen and they're like, because isn't it like dreams are like 15 seconds long? I've heard that before.
I don't believe it because whenever you wake up, it feels like it was all night. So it's like,
Right,
and if you go back to sleep and you have another dream, like, was that really only 15 seconds too? So, like,
right.
how
But I
many
think the
seconds
idea
adds
behind
up?
that
You
the
know?
idea behind that is that they're 15 seconds, and then when you wake up like within the first 10 or 15 minutes, that's when you're filling in all the gaps in your dream, and it's our own creativity who tells what the dreams are. So but I don't know, I fucking love dreams. I think they're really cool. I love hearing other people's dreams, and yes, I do remember my dreams.
What about nightmares? Do you remember them?
Yeah, big time. I love nightmares, but I don't get them too much. I wish I got more nightmares, but and then I say that and I would hate that, but nightmares are kind of cool. I definitely enjoy the nightmares probably more than the dreams for a lot of reasons because they're more disturbing. They're fucked up. I don't My nightmares don't get too over the top. They're more like body horror. I have a lot of nightmares about my hair, which makes sense because I hold that very highly in my life. But there's this like overwhelming sense of relief with waking up from a nightmare that you don't get when you wake up from a dream. If anything, when you wake up from a really good dream, I feel kind of sad because like it's not real life. The amount of dreams that I've had where I was like one of the kids in School of Rock at least 10 times like throughout my life,
That's pretty.
and I wake up and I'm just like fuck, like I'm not in
Would you
School of Rock
would you
or I'm not in
consider
Spy
that?
Kids.
It,
Say
would
what?
you would you consider that like one of your favorite like Jack Black movies or so?
Yeah, definitely. That's like the Jack Black movie for me.
I think mine's Nacho Libre. I got a stigma from my friend that I met 4 or 5 years ago. He was like, anytime I have over a partner, romantic, trying to get a date, it's like I'll put on Nacho Libre and something will happen. Like something that this
It's a good
guy
call.
does, this magic. And I'm like, okay, like I'm going to try this and put this to the test. Nacho Libre works, everybody.
Nacho Libre is incredible. I think Jack Black is a gift.
All right, so what would you consider like an embarrassing moment? Would you care to share one?
Oh yeah, I mean, so much shit always happens on stage. I try not to be embarrassed by things that happen because like we're all
Not in your
human.
control.
But one time I was like fully what's it called? Like wrapped up in a cable and I wasn't able to move around while because I was playing guitar. So I had to like bend over, like and kind of play hunched over, and I looked like I was like taking a shit or something. And it was really uncomfortable because I like to move. I'm like a big mover, so I was just kind of hunched over, like trying to make it work, and I felt like a dumbass, but I had to do it the whole song. That's why it was embarrassing.
What would you say is like a favorite memory of, like when it comes to music? Like, you have like a favorite memory of like learning something or recording something, or even performing?
Mm. Yeah, I have a lot of amazing like studio memories with friends back in the Bay Area where we used to just all be in my room All my studios have always been in my room. I'm the type of person to be like the stew, and it's like my bedroom. But like we just all hang out and collaborate. It's just anytime we're together, we would make something cool. And we had this one song that was like a bunch of people were rapping on it, and then it was a bunch of beat switches. And we were like, let's see how far we could do like switches in a song. So we had a slowed down version of DJ, no, not DJ, Gotta Spawn in Love. Love in This Club by Usher. And then
Yeah.
it transitioned
Okay.
into like an audiobook reading where my friend did the
Nice.
first chapter of Lord of the Flies. And then we did
Great
like a
choice.
podcast moment after that. So it's just like a really long song that like first starts off with it's like a cipher, like raps, and then it goes into other songs, and then it goes into an audiobook, and then it goes into it's just like an hour long, and it's just terrible, but it was so fun to make, and I just love making shit with my friends. And then in terms of live stuff, I don't know, I feel like every show is amazing, but we did a pajama party one time back in
Nice.
the day, and that was
I'm a
really
big
fun.
fan of those.
Yeah, they're great.
I still rock my PJs, as you see.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love them.
These ones old school Victoria, yeah, Victoria's Secret, but yeah, like you gotta keep it in the classics, you know. It's like
Those are
you're
so
tired.
beautiful. Where did you get them?
This one was just like one of those like classy kind of thrift stores where it's just like
Okay.
only select kind of clothes, but it's
Yeah,
like
like a boutique.
never cheap. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I was
okay.
like
I
can't
like that.
pass it up.
Yeah, it looks great. I love the cheetah.
Yeah, so like whenever it comes to like recording music, like with like Evil Girl and this one, so like what was the inspiration and stuff behind that?
The drums for sure. I mean, I had the drum loop for like months. It was I just always try to recreate like 80s drum loops just because I like the 80s. And I couldn't figure out like a bass line that I liked, so I just kind of made it really simple. It's like three
Yeah,
notes.
nothing wrong
The
with that.
Exactly, that's what it is. It's like you think too much, then you fuck yourself over. But like you keep it simple, and then it all comes together. I had the instrumental for a while, and then I came up with the lyrics in the shower.
Okay, and so like kind of explain like the idea behind like the music video. Was it like you had different ideas and you were trying to like put this all together, or was it all on the spot?
I think the videos are always just kind of exploring like my general vibe further.
Okay.
It's kind of like inviting the viewer into like my world not on stage, because I do a lot of live stuff. So the video for that one was me and my girlfriend just like absolutely slaying, just being a couple of evil girls. And it was that simple. It was like just like looking cool, being slaying, being how we want to be, presenting ourselves freely. And we had the incredible Gabby Manson shoot it for us.
I
And
see.
all of her
Yeah.
work is absolutely incredible. So that was a great video. And I had a lot of fun.
And currently, are you working on projects right now or recording like an album or anything?
Right now, I'm just kind of like making songs here and there. I have a couple songs that I hope to release this year and focusing on live shows. But yeah, eventually I do want to do an album. I haven't done like an album in this style quite yet. So I'm excited to get into that.
Yeah, so like what was your first show or your first concert that kind of got you inspired?
Like that I played or that I've been to.
Yeah, been to, even from the past, yeah.
Um, oh my God, yeah. It was in San Francisco at the Honey Hive, and it was my friend's band, but they were just so incredible. They were a girl band called Kuroshi Hotline, and it was kind of like my first DIY punk show. I was 16, I think, and I was just, I don't know, I was blown away. It was like 8 people in the crowd, and they just sounded so perfect, and I was like, this is what I need to do with my life. I feel like it taught me so much, and they were so badass. And yeah, I love Kuroshi Hotline. They're not together anymore, but they live on.
All right, yeah, R.I.P.
For real.
All right, so like, what was some of the first gear you bought?
The first thing that I ever bought was my white Fender Stratocaster, and that was awesome because I had an orange one and I didn't like it. I thought it was ugly and it was odd shaped, and I like kind of switched that out, brought it to I think just Guitar Center, and then I got my white Fender, and I still use that. That was like my first guitar that I bought with my own money, and it's still the one that I use to this day.
I'm guessing that one's American made.
I think it's Mexican made.
Oh, yeah, I'm about to say they do a really good job.
They do.
Yeah, they have probably the best. Yeah, this one's kind of a interesting one too. So, you remember the first time you fell in love?
Yes, actually, I do.
Oh, you care to share a little story?
You know, it's funny. A big thing about that was it was because of the gorillas.
Yeah.
I was so like music brain. I was young, but she like knew who the gorillas were, so I was like, this is it.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
this is
this
it.
is it. But yeah, I've learned a lot since then.
Yeah, this one's one of my favorite questions. What would your last meal be?
Oh, I love that question. I watched there's a TikTok channel about a guy cooks all the final meals of
Crazy ones.
Death Row. I
Yeah.
think that's really cool because some of them are like, the most
Terrible.
complex
Yeah.
whatever, and then some of them are like a bowl of ice cream. And I kind of go back and
Yeah.
forth thinking what if I would want to go that route. I'm not a big like giant meal person, so I don't think I would do some like savory perfect meal. I think it would be like, a 2 liter thing of Hawaiian punch. I hate Hawaiian punch. That's why I like it for like 5 minutes and then I hate it. So I think that's why it would be a good time because it's like, oh, you do the Hawaiian punch, then you're gonna fucking die. So it's perfect. Um, I'm lactose intolerant, so I would do a bunch of dairy, just like so much dairy, because you can't shit yourself if you're dead. Well, you kind of already shit yourself when you die,
Yeah.
so it's like it's all. I would do like, okay, here we
Not
go.
your
I would
problem.
do tiramisu, um, a really like complicated vanilla milkshake. I don't know how you can make it complicated, but like a big giant one with like whipped cream and a bunch of shit.
Chicago
Hawaiian punch.
style had the chocolate cake in there.
Yes, exactly.
Right,
As much
yeah.
a cheesecake or
Big
Oreo
guy.
cheesecake,
Yeah.
and then like I don't know, something else, like a glass of milk just to say fuck you to the lactose intolerance.
And,
I
and
hate milk.
where are you based now?
I'm in LA.
So do you have like a favorite spot you like to go to?
Yeah, the mint. I love the mint.
All
It's
right, all right.
great over there.
Yeah. And how do you feel about like did you do anything for St. Patty's? You go
Not really. We did a video yesterday. I did a video for my friend's song that's coming out. But
okay.
I think it's cool that people have such a good time doing stuff for St. Patrick's Day. I think anytime there's like a holiday, I'm always like, yeah, that's cool. I like a holiday. I like themes.
I'm like, I feel like that's the one time where you always see people out on the strip and also be like, the people actually getting lit and going in the ocean.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I mean, I was driving around yesterday. I saw a shit ton of people out just all wearing green, getting super
Yeah.
drunk and just behaving wild. And that's
I'm
cool.
I'm
It's
right
fun.
at Cap Hill in Seattle, and it's just like seeing mobs of people going up there that are the rowdiest, and you're like, yeah, I'm glad I'm taking it easy right now.
Totally. I was done yesterday by like 4 o'clock p.m. and I was just like, I'm
Exactly.
ready for bed. Like I
Ready to
love
watch,
it.
yeah, watch my shows and chill.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess to mention shows, what kind of shows and stuff do you watch?
My favorite show ever is Freaks and Geeks. I'm really sad that they didn't renew it for any more seasons because that's like perfect to me. I love it.
Yeah. They could have had
Um,
their time even after the 90s, the late 90s.
totally.
It's just, yeah, especially, I mean, I guess James Franco did blow up, but I mean, like, everybody's career, respectively, after that show has done really incredible work.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah,
everybody did pretty good. It was a Judd Apatow early thing, so
yeah,
I mean that says a lot.
true.
But
It
I like
does.
that, and I like cartoons. I like Courage the Cowardly Dog and SpongeBob and Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
Yeah, okay.
I'm trying to think of some more. There's definitely more. I love the Powerpuff Girls. I love The Office. I'm a freak for The Office. Dwight
Yeah,
Schrute.
the good days of The Office. I can't believe how they ended it, but when you were there for it, it was prime time.
Yeah, it's just something good to like
Yeah,
throw on TV.
yeah, yeah. And like, what about like recent stuff? You seen anything like recent? Like,
I'm honestly pretty bad at like keeping up, but I liked The White Lotus. That was good.
yeah, the White Lotus was a hit. Oh yeah. So, what would you consider your spiritual animal?
A dog. Trying to think what
A
breed.
dog. Yeah.
Doberman Pinscher.
Do you have any pets?
I have a black cat named Salem that I have with my partner, but I had a dog named Lola who was like my pride and joy, but she's no longer with us.
Yeah, I'm sorry about your loss.
Thank
Um,
you.
this one's kind of funny too. This one's before I get, into the deep. All right, yeah. So, like, what would you like say, like a random fact about yourself?
It's a random fact about me.
No one would know.
What's something that no one would know? I'm not sure. Let's think here.
Are you a Jerry Seinfeld fan?
I wouldn't say so. I like him, but I wouldn't say I'm a fan. I think that's too far for me. But I'm a Larry David fan.
Yeah, Larry David had it going on.
Oh, here we go. This is a fun fact. I'm like a huge football fan. I love the
Oh,
49ers. I think that's kind of whenever I tell people that, they're like, that's not very on brand. And I'm like, well, go Niners.
yeah, yeah, go Niners. Oh, yeah. Well, so what do you think about like what areas have you lived in? Have you always been West Coast?
I've always been West Coast. I grew up in the Bay.
Huh.
And I lived in San Mateo for my childhood, which is about 20 minutes away from San Francisco. And then I lived in San Francisco for a while, and then I lived in Eugene, Oregon for a moment, only for a year and a half. Did not
Yeah.
like it too much; it was too cold.
Right.
Yeah, and then then LA, and I like LA.
What would you say is like your favorite place to like play at then? Do you have one?
Um, Similar to my favorite place to go, probably the Mint again, but I
Yeah,
also
you played
really
there?
like what else? What else do I like in LA? I haven't played there yet. I actually have a show there on the 29th, but
Okay,
I think
cool.
I'm gonna really like it. It's called Harvell's in Santa Monica, and
Nice.
it's like red curtain, checkered floor. It looks kind of like Twin Peaks, so I'm really into that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very interested in checking out a show. I'll be probably
Yeah,
coming away soon enough.
yeah. Let me know. We can hang out. You can come to the show. That'd be fun.
LA is always a good time. Oh,
That's right.
all right. So here's a funny Bible question. If you were stranded on an island, but you could only take one thing with you, what would you bring?
Only one. That's hard. The hard thing about this question, because this is a classic, but it's just because like things die and things end. Like if I used to say like toilet paper or something like that, something functional. But then you're gonna run out. So I would not bring toilet. I would bring like a doll of some sort, a companion. Maybe a voodoo doll, so I can have power over someone. I could be God on the island. Yeah, I'll say that a doll.
Have you tried tarot? Are you a fan, or like, would you consider yourself spiritual?
I haven't tried it myself. I've had my cards read quite a few times. I think that world is really cool. I don't know too much about it, to be honest. I should know more because I feel like my family has like a lot of history with that. But um, yeah, I think it's cool. I'd love to learn more about it.
What do you think about like crystals and like the energy and like the properties about like what like different things that they bring to you? Do you think?
Yeah, I think again, I think I'm like down to explore that. I love when people are into it. I love when people have things that like mean a lot to them. So I'm in total support of it, but I just think there's a lot to learn for me there.
Well, what's your sign? Do you believe in astrology?
Yeah, I'm a Virgo.
Virgo. All right, let me see. Let me see here. So this one is magic. All right, paradox.
Okay.
Solar plexus in the heart, chakra wise. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, zodiac sign Virgo, Taurus, Earth element. Okay. Healing properties. All right, I'll tell you a little bit about it. It transforms your negative emotions thoughts into joyous, loving, uplifting energies. Okay? And it can be beneficial for your immune system, your heart, your lungs, your bladder, your gallbladder, your skin, your eyes. Another interesting fact that says a stone of abundance paradox can boost our material, emotional, and spiritual prosperity.
That sounds wonderful. I love all of that.
So it's like
See,
that's one that I've seen, and I was like, I can't pass that up. Like
yeah,
there's some
horoscopes just
like
make me feel good, I feel like. They
yeah
either make me feel good or they give me some intuition. Or they
yeah
justify some intuition that I have, which is nice.
yeah. And also, like, would you outside of, like being like a spiritual person, like would it be like optimistic or pessimistic?
I think I'm a realist. I think I'm a hard realist sometimes. I think but if anything I think optimistic. I like to be positive, but I often think like whatever's going on is what's going on. We could do our best. We could put our best foot forward and do that, but yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm a mix of all of them because I think at the same time I'm pretty pessimistic, but yeah.
Okay, I guess we're down to the last few here. So before I bombard you with some of these regular questions, all right. What took you on your path to being straight edge? Is there a story behind it?
Not really. It's kind of just like I used to smoke a lot of weed in high school. I used to drink a lot and it was fun. I didn't like drinking too much. Weed's cool, but I feel like it's just I got really busy and it felt like something that I didn't have time for. And I don't know, I feel like I was getting
Yeah.
satisfied in other aspects of my life and then at a certain point I thought people thought it was really cool that I didn't do it and I think I was responding to that by not doing it more. They were like, "Oh,
Yeah, like I actually don't need this. And
yeah,
also,
they're like
yeah.
they're never going to be drunk or stoned, so that's their thing now." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, that's my thing."
Oh, all right. Do you remember like the first movie you went to go see in theaters?
Monsters Inc. My parents took me.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
25, and you went to that was your first movie in theaters?
In theaters, yeah.
That
I
was a
don't
big
know.
one. I mean, I remember like a lot of people showing up for that. I think I probably went to go see that in theaters as a kid, but I'm like there were some hits back then. I
Yeah.
remember like whenever Hercules came out, how big of
Oh yeah.
that was. Like like a hell of a line. I grew up in a small town in Ohio though, so it was like only one theater, so it'd be like a line and be like max
Oh
capacity,
man.
guys. Like you guys could probably hang out in the area, like in the but like you can't go in any further. Like I remember that happening like on some movies where I'd be like, damn, like I didn't get in, but
That's
I get to,
crazy.
get to hear the movie, or I
Yeah.
get to get back and go to a later show, but fuck.
Yeah, I don't think it was that. I think we just went to Monsters Inc. because like it was probably a thing to do. But um,
Are you a
yeah.
Star Wars
I
fan?
say it again.
Are you a Star Wars fan?
I am. Yeah, I love Star Wars.
Did you go see the Star Wars movies in theaters?
I saw all three of them at the midnight screening, fully dressed up, and I don't even like those movies. I think they're not that good. But at the same time, I'm a hypocrite because I cried in all three of them.
um like whenever my dad took us to go see Star Wars Episode 2, my
Good one.
I have four sisters, and like, my
Mhm.
my sister Jordan, she's the oldest. She was like falling asleep every single time during Episode 2. So my dad would be like, "We're going back." And like next weekend, you're staying up and you're watching like this whole movie, and then like we watch it like a second time, falls asleep like within 30 minutes, and we didn't even realize. So then like we go and see it again, third time, still falls asleep. So I feel like with the people that say Episode 2 sucks, I'm like, I mean, my sister fell asleep like three times and I was in the theaters. You know, it's
You're
like,
like, I know the whole plot, baby.
yeah, like, yeah, like some movies, whenever you go see it three times, you're like, I almost know the dialogue at that point.
Right. Do you have a favorite Star Wars movie?
Oh, I mean, outside of Episode 3, I think Episode 3 is a hitter, but Return of the Jedi, like,
That's
it's,
actually my favorite too. Those are my two favorite, I would say. And I love
yeah, like,
episode two as well.
Return of the Jedi just is like so immersive that you're getting brought to like all of the world you're finally there. But also, whenever I was younger, I'd probably had the VHS for Empire Strike Back, and I'd play that like over and over. You know, so I probably
Classic.
got burned out on that one.
Totally. I just love Jabba's palace in episode 6. It's so like sleazy. It's like the sleaziness of the galaxy.
Yeah, yeah. And also like with your own music though, what when you say whenever you switched over to Logic, like do you kind of have like it's like a songs, or do you still like record on Logic that it's just not out there?
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of stuff that I have yet to release that I've done. I mean, I just do all my stuff on Logic now, but I think it's when I got a new computer, and at the same time, I started using Logic because I had more storage. I think it was literally like an issue of storage, just because I was abusing GarageBand and I had so many tracks, and I was growing as an artist and a producer, so the switch was pretty easy. But I like Logic. It's basically just you know, advanced GarageBand.
Yeah, I truly agree. Also like whenever it comes to like DAW, what kind of like interface do you kind of use? Do you still kind of plug in like everything like before you get into the interface, or are you kind of like a microphone recorder that records like the space whenever you play?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Depends on the song. I do like to do direct in for a lot of stuff, but if I have like a guitar tone or I want to record percussion a certain way, I'll probably just do that by mic.
Okay, so what kind of amp do you have?
I have a I always forget the name of it. It's like a Fender two twin reverb. That's it. I have a Fender twin reverb. I'm not a gearhead. I'm like the opposite of a gearhead.
Do you use pedals then?
I do. I use I don't even know my pedal names.
What was
I
your
use
first
this
pedal?
say what?
What was your first pedal you bought?
It was Soul Food. I have it around here somewhere.
Soul Food. You kept it, or you bought another one?
I don't use it anymore, but it's Soul
I've
Food. It's got
heard
a
of it.
bunch of red shit all over it. All my pedals are like terrifying and bloody, and this one's popping open. This is just like the distortion
Oh yeah, like I think
boss
that
DSI.
yeah, I think that those things they need to make a connection where even whenever it breaks, you can still push it down.
Yeah,
Because that one is one of the ones where you're the most mean to, I feel.
totally. I feel like I have a lot of distortion pedals. That was the main one that I use. Now I use like this metal distortion one, and I got a reverb one. I always forget the names. And then I have like this crazy. It was really cheap. It's like plastic, and it's a chorus pedal, and I just turn on all the things to like maximum, and just it sounds like an alien. It's awesome.
And like whenever it comes to like your recording, do you do it track by track, or is it kind of like once I have your drums, am I playing guitar and doing vocals like at the same time and try to like get an idea, like just kind of an idea about your process?
Yeah, it's definitely track by track for me. I'm really like I like to play everything as perfectly as I can. At the same time, I kind of want to sound like when I mess up and it works. That's my favorite. That's what I'm. That's definitely the take that I use 9 times out of 10. But I do track by track for sure.
And also, I guess what introduced you to PSY and doing this whole new take?
Yeah, kind of just being in LA. I feel like PSY runs the underground. I saw that they're doing a Lana Del Rey night at I think it was Harvard and Stone. That's it. Yeah, and
Big fan of those.
yeah, those are great, right? And then my friend Clifton was performing at it, and I was gonna check it out, but then I couldn't. And then sooner than later, there was a show that they had an artist drop out of, and they needed a new artist. I was like, yo, what's up? And they had me play it. I didn't even have a band yet. It was just me and my drummer. But we played an okay set. I got to meet everybody, and then me and Chloe started talking about releasing stuff. And I love all those people at PSY. It's really an awesome environment for eccentric artists, just wild out there. And yeah, PSY is great.
Now, this one's kind of like a sappy question, though. Like, outside of like best memory working with music, what's like the saddest memory about working with music for you? Yeah. So to finish off that last question, bullshit happen moment, like just like somebody that stole your gear, or like, something fucked up happened that day and you're working on music or whatever. Like, there's always those situations.
Yeah, there was a show that we played in 2018. It was in my kind of like the band, my high school band type vibe. Um, we were told that it was going to be like a sick like church show, like it's like a punk show at the church, super cool. But when we got there, it was like a church, like a real church, and the guy hosting it was like super religious, and I love religion. I think religion's really cool. I love all religions, but he was just like
Yeah, not for this.
no swearing, no bad stuff, all that, and I was just like, uh-oh. And
That was your first
immediately
time.
yeah, immediately when our hype man goes out and addresses the crowd, he goes, "Who's ready to fuck some shit up?" And just the vibes are immediately off, and everybody was really pissed at us backstage. And then I go out, and he reminded me again. He was like no cursing, like just with your songs that have curse words, just like omit them, switch them out. And I wasn't thinking, like when you're performing, you're kind of on machine mode. You're not thinking
Definitely.
about
It's a song.
cleaning up everything. Yeah. So I did one of the songs, and I was cursing. I didn't realize it. And then I felt my mic turn off. I couldn't hear myself. And we were basically being like muted. And I was so mad about that, but I didn't want to make a big thing about it. So instead, I just cut the set super short. It was our second song where that happened, and I think we did two more songs after that. We were supposed to do like 12. We ended up doing four, and I was just so it left a bad taste in my mouth. I felt like my voice was being taken away from me, and I was being really dramatic about it, but it did kind of suck. And that actually ended up being the last show of that high school band project. So kind of a bummer to end on that note, but that was all right. It's also kind of like cool, like it's like that shows that our time was done.
Something similar like that has happened to me. Like, I was playing like a show I even booked at Blind Bob's in Dayton, Ohio, and
Hmm.
like that's where I was living for a minute, and so it was like years back, years back. I was definitely young. I was not even 21 yet, so they were lucky, I guess, to like allow me in. It was a real bar show. So anyway, I had like one band play in front of me, and then I was the last person to play, and maybe been like only bar people there.
Hmm.
And so I'm playing like maybe like 5, 6 minutes in, like with my music, it's just kind of like a build up noise experience. So now, yeah, so it's just like I'm doing like song by song. So at this time it's just like building up sounds and stuff. And by the time I got to like the vocal part and adding in drums and everything like that, the sound guy completely just cut me off completely.
What?
Just turned off the PA. This was just like, you can now just like stop. And like some of my stuff was still playing through like my own amplifier that was no longer being mic'd. So I was like, I booked this own show. Like, I'm gonna at least still play like whatever I got like through this amplifier. The guy comes up eventually, takes off the thing out of the amplifier, was like, no more.
The disrespect is crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that was the last time I was like, yeah, this is a good venue. And then I was like, actually, I guess it's not, huh?
Yeah, I guess not.
Oh
That's
man,
really that's very mean of them to do.
a learning curve. Yeah, but I mean, right. When I was young, stupid in the game, I probably was too high, too drunk because I got free juice. I think
Yeah.
they were like, this guy just yeah, he blew it.
Never a good feeling to have your stuff cut out without your consent. That's just not. That feels crazy. It's like a
Yeah,
violating experience.
it's probably maybe the worst thing for an artist because you're like, I guess like I gotta get him next time or something. But at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like, oh my God, like I should just pack up my stuff and get out of here. But like it's gonna take a long time
Yeah.
to
That's
get to
brutal.
right. Yeah, yeah. Like I feel like with some shows and performance though, it's like a hit or miss. Like whenever like say like the music is risky with like having 4 or 5 bands that play and they're all different genres that they're not used to and that kind of stuff. Has that ever been like a challenge for you,
Um
finding the right?
yeah, I think so. I mean, we've definitely played shows where there's like just a lot of bands on the bill, like upwards of 15, and it's
Yeah,
just like,
yeah.
how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna manage to bring? It's more of a festival at that point, but it just sucks when a band gets like is unable to play because of time. Like that's a shitty reason. One time we were the villains in that story. That we're probably somebody else's worst band memory. I think it was this band's first show too. It was in Monterey, and we just went over, I guess, and we weren't supposed to play one last song, but they only had time for one more song anyway. So it's like if they gave it to the other band, they would just play one song, which I think is weird. But it wasn't my fault. I'm being completely defensive in that way. But like my guitarist told me we have one more song, and I was like, okay. And then we did one more song and went super long, and we did "Hungry Like the Wolf" by Duran Duran, which is so funny because this
That is
other
a great
band's like
song.
waiting, like nervous, like we're gonna be able to play. It's like their first show, and then we're like playing "Hungry Like the Wolf," extending it super long because it's the last song. And then when we were done, they were really mad. They were so mad. They were like so mad at us. Like I've
We'll
never
never play a show with you again.
like it was worse. Like they wanted to like hurt me, and I think that's, I don't know, that's probably fine.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So this one's kind of like a classic vibe osmosis question too. So, like, even though you're not a smoker or anything before, would you say where you were going for indica or sativa? I'm just interested.
Great question, because I used to be really into smoking. Um, Sativa was such a cool formative thing for me growing up. I feel like I used to just
Mario
I
style, right?
I had no idea how to do it. Like I would just try to get so high. I thought that like you weren't high until you were like unable to walk. So I used to just get super high. We all bought a bong when we were in like fucking sophomore year of high school or something like that. And then we just would abuse it and just get way too high. And I would just be like on the bed. I would green out like every time I'd smoke, but I thought that was like really fun and cool. So when I was younger, I would say sativa. But now if I ever smoke weed again, which I probably will, probably indica, just
Indica, yeah.
relax, like just chill
The
out.
night, yeah, it takes the night away. Also, so like whenever it comes to working on music too, and you're not like focusing on like a mainstream way, like is there like certain bands that kind of taught you like how to kind of navigate your own way?
Yeah, that's a great sentiment, I think, because a lot of the time as artists, I feel like we try to, latch on to mainstream things that, are successful so we can make music that's successful. But
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, I think I learned the most from non-mainstream artists, and I love outsider music. That's like one of my favorite genres. Daniel Johnston's like a god to me, and I feel like I learned so much from just artists that kind of go their own way so aggressively. I love Wesley Willis too. I think he's really smart.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yeah, I think it's really cool to listen to an artist, and you could tell that they can't be any other way. They're so themselves that they just cannot be any other way. And I feel like that's Daniel Johnston, that's Wesley, and that's a lot of other bigger artists too who get popular off that thing. But I don't know. It's cool to be vulnerable in that way and just be openly yourself.
This one I'll say is the last one. Um, what artist that's dead would you have dinner with?
Would I have dinner with? Fantastic. Mm. I feel like Prince.
Prince. Great call.
Prince, maybe. I think he'd just be a good dinner person. You
Yeah,
know?
you know the spots.
Like, yeah, he would know the spots. He would know where to go. And if not Prince, then no, I think Prince. I think that's the one.
I think in my case, it might be Frank Sinatra, because
Yeah.
like every spot you go to, you'd probably be like, back in my day,
Yeah.
like
The history would be
nothing
there.
maybe, yeah. So it's like
Another person
30.
that you actually reminded me, because you said Frank. Oh my God, is Frank Zappa. I would love to have dinner with Frank Zappa just for the conversation. For Prince, it would be like, the spots and the vibes. But like with Frank
Yeah.
Zappa, I would feel like I would learn a whole lot.
Yeah, and that might not ruin your night because Spring Zappa is pretty enlightening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking this time to join Vibe Osmosis. It's been awesome to chat with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was an absolute blast, and I love what you do.
Thank you, thank you. And also, I really do like your music, and I honestly look forward to seeing you play live. I'm really really stoked for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll keep in touch. I'll be working on this all day.
Cool. Very much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you.
All right, you take care now.
Yeah,